What's up, guys? The 2025 NFL Draft is tomorrow, and I thought it'd be fun to do a mock draft for me. This is what I think's going to happen, and I don't know much about college football, but I know a lot about the NFL, and I know what every team needs and what I think they're going to do, so let's get right into it. Starting off with the first overall pick, the Tennessee Titans are going to select Cam Ward. This one's about as clear-cut as it gets when it comes to first overall pick. Everyone knows they're going to take him because that's their guy, and they're giving up on Will Levis. So, yeah, they're definitely taking Cam Ward, and that's the most obvious pick in the draft. All right, second overall, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Abdul Carter, an edge from Penn State. And this player is actually projected to be the best player in the class. Hence why I have the Cleveland Browns selecting him with their pick, because I just feel like he's a lot safer of a pick than Travis Hunter, because that's what a lot of people think is going to happen. That's who a lot of people think the Browns are going to take, but I personally think they're going to take Abdul Carter. All right, with the third overall pick, I actually have the Giants selecting Travis Hunter, who is a wide receiver and a cornerback. Kind of a weird scenario where he plays both positions, and it seems like he really wants to do that because he says he's not going to play if he's not allowed to play both positions. So we'll see how that goes, but I would do the same thing if I was the Giants. They have solid quarterback play, solid quarterbacks now, so yeah, that's what I do. Okay, fourth pick, I actually have a trade. I'm having the Raiders trade up, and that's what the trade is going to look like. So now the Raiders have ownership of the fourth overall pick, and I have them taking Shedeur Sanders. And this is kind of a puzzling pick. I know it is, but it's the Raiders, and I feel like they would totally do this. I feel like they're a team that will take Shedeur way too high. Not that I think he's going to be an awful player, but at 4, pretty high, but I definitely think the Raiders are going to do that. All right, fifth overall pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Mason Graham, defensive tackle at Michigan. And, this is about as, good of a pick you could ask for the Jags. They're just taking the best guy available, at least on defense. I guess you could say maybe Ashton Genty is still there, but, the Jags, this is what I think they should do, and this is what I think they're going to do, take Mason Graham. All right, the Patriots with the 6th pick via Raiders, they're going to select Armand Memwell, offensive tackle. And the main goal of the Patriots right now should be to keep Drake May upright, and an offensive tackle position would help with just that. So I have him taking Armand Memwell. All right, with the 7th overall pick, I have the New York Jets selecting Tyler Warren, and that's going to be our first tight end off the board. And the reason I think the Jets are going to take him is because their offense has struggled immensely for the past, forever, because the Jets, and they've always had a shit offense. But I think they're going to bring in Tyler Warren because they have their running back and they have their wide receiver one. So I think they're going to try to complement those two guys with Tyler Warren to also try to help out Justin Fields as well. All right, with the 8th overall pick, I have the Carolina Panthers selecting Jalen Walker, edge from Georgia. And this is another one where it's just the Panthers need defense in the worst possible way. They had the worst defense last season, and there's no way they're not taking defense. And Jalen Walker, in my opinion, is the best player available, if this hypothetical draft happens. All right, with the 9th pick, I have the Cowboys trading up. Their 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th. for Rashid Shaheed and the 9th overall pick. And with that 9th pick, I have the Cowboys taking Ashton Genty. And I mean, the Cowboys need a running back, and Ashton Genty has surprisingly fallen this low because a lot of people have him drafted way higher. And I think this is going to give the Cowboys this idea to trade up and get him. And that's why I have him doing that. Definitely not a typical mock draft, but I'm only doing one, and you gotta just go with your gut feeling, and that was my gut feeling. All right, with the 10th pick, I have the Chicago Bears selecting Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas. It's another offensive tackle, and I mean, one of the biggest problems for the Bears last season was the fact that Caleb Williams just did not have enough time to throw the ball. So therefore, they're taking an offensive tackle to help with that issue. All right, next up with the 11th overall pick, I have the 49ers selecting Teteroya McMillan. He's a wide receiver out of Arizona. And this is because the 49ers lost Deebo Samuel in a trade with the Commanders, and also Brandon Ayuk has definitely been underwhelming since they gave him a contract, so they're going to try to fill a void at wide receiver with this pick right here. All right, 12th overall is the Saints via Cowboys, and I have them taking cornerback Jahdae Barron. I think I said that right. But yeah, the Saints, I think they're going to take a cornerback because they lost Marshawn Lattimore at midseason free agency last season. And I think they're going to do what they can to try to fill the void by taking a cornerback. And this guy just seems like a guy that I feel like they would take. So that was the pick for this one. Okay, with the 13th overall pick, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting edge rusher Michael Williams. And the reason I have them taking this player is because the Dolphins seem to always have a problem with keeping their edge rushers healthy. I mean, they couldn't really stay healthy at all last season, but one thing I've noticed is for the last few seasons, they've just had so much trouble having an edge rusher stay healthy. Hence why I think they're going to take an edge rusher, Michael Walker. All right, with the 14th overall pick, I have the Colts selecting tight end Colston Loveland. And, I mean, this one's pretty simple. The Colts need a tight end, and Colston Loveland is the best tight end available right now. And, nothing really much to say there. They need a tight end really badly, and I think Colston Loveland's going to be fitting pretty well with the Colts. Hopefully he helps out Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones or whoever their quarterback's going to be. Okay, with the 15th overall pick, I have the Falcons selecting edge rusher James Pierce Jr. And this is another one where the Falcons just need an edge rusher in the worst possible way. And James Pierce Jr., in my opinion, was the best one available. So I'm having him go to the Falcons. And we'll see if their edge rushing unit can finally not be bottom 5 for the first time in 10 years or something. All right, with the 16th overall pick, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting offensive tackle Will Campbell. And I don't know how Will Campbell managed to fall this low in my draft because I know this guy's good. I've heard how good this guy is, but this is just how the cards have played out. And the Cardinals are just getting extremely lucky with positioning, and they're going to get a great player in offensive tackle Will Campbell. All right, with the 17th overall pick, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting cornerback Will Johnson. And this is another one where, I mean, you know the Bengals are taking defense. And, I mean, there's just no way they're not. I mean, their offense is unbelievable, but their defense is also unbelievably bad. So they have to hope that Will Johnson can help out their defensive unit and have them not be a bottom 5 defense, and hopefully they can make the playoffs this season with this addition. All right, with the 18th overall pick, I have the Seattle Seahawks selecting edge rusher Shamar Stewart. And this one I actually had to think about for a while because, like, what do the Seahawks really need? Like, they are not taking a quarterback. It's too late. And running back they don't need. They don't need a wide receiver. And, I mean, you don't really... I honestly didn't know what this team needed that well. I just picked an edge rusher with this name because this just seems like a name that would be on the Seahawks. And also, I feel like edge rusher is probably the safest pick when it comes to picking an NFL player in the draft. All right, next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 19, and I have them taking linebacker Jahad Campbell. And this is another one where I just feel like this is a Bucs type of player, like a linebacker. Not that a linebacker is a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's important to have your front seven. And, I mean, they probably could use an extra guy on that defense because sometimes their defense can be insanely inconsistent. So we'll see if they can get some more consistency production with this guy. With the 20th overall pick, I have the Denver Broncos selecting Omarion Hampton, running back. And I would be surprised if he is not going to be available here just because I don't think other teams are going to be eager to take the second best running back because running back's not really a big need for a lot of teams, but it certainly is a need for us, the Broncos. And I certainly think that if he is available, like I think he will be, that he will be a Denver Bronco, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, 21st overall pick, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting quarterback Jackson Dart. And this is definitely a reach, but, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers, that's who the Steelers think is going to be their quarterback. But at the same time, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to take 3 months to decide his decision, whether he wants to play or retire or go on the, Vikings or something. So this is an insurance plan for the Steelers. All right, next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at pick 22. I have them selecting edge rusher Mike Green. And this one, I just think this is another one where the Chargers already have a pretty good roster, and I just think they're going to simply just take the edge rusher, which I don't know why that is the safe position in the draft, but I just have a feeling it is, just because, you just got to get a guy who can go after the quarterback, and, you're never going to get scrutiny for that, hence why I think it's the safe pick. Okay, next up, Matthew Golden is going to the Green Bay Packers, and this one is obvious. The Packers need a wide receiver horribly. They don't have a wide receiver one, and they're going to take Matthew Golden in hopes that he is their new wide receiver one for Jordan Love. All right, at pick 24, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting safety Nick Emanwori. And I think that's the first safety in the draft. Yeah, it is. And the reason I think they're going to take a safety is because Harrison Smith is still pretty good, but he is getting up there in age, and I think they're going to have this guy try to be his replacement. Okay, at pick 25, I have the Houston Texans selecting Tyler Booker from Alabama. And the reason I have them taking an offensive lineman is just because they've just kind of destroyed their offensive line this offseason. They traded away Laramie Tunsil, which, I guess I understand that because he wasn't playing that good, but they didn't really get that much compensation for him. So they're going to have another offensive lineman try to help them out because CJ Stroud had no time last season. Okay, pick 26 at the Los Angeles Rams. They are going to take defensive tackle Derek Harmon. And this is another example of a team that, in my opinion, is a strong Super Bowl contender, taking the best player available. and this is the best player available, so I got him going to the Rams. Alright, at pick 27, I have the Baltimore Ravens selecting edge rusher Donovan Eziruaku. My apologies if I messed that up, but that's a difficult name to, try to pronounce. But yeah, I have him taking an edge rusher because it's another example of just the best player on the board. Because the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. I mean, they just need to get past, the Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals when they get to the playoffs. That's their main obstacle. All right, pick 28, I have the Detroit Lions selecting cornerback Maxwell Hairston. And this one, definitely, the Lions are definitely taking defense because their defense just got so injured last season. And I know you can't control injuries, but one thing that you can control is the backups on your team. And I think they're going to have Maxwell Hairston in there just to kind of help with the depth because the Lions are a complete team. It's just they had very unfortunate injury luck last season. All right, at pick 29, we have our third and final trade. And that's the trade right there if you want to go back and pause it. But 29th overall pick, I have the Chiefs selecting Gray Zabel, offensive guard. And this one makes sense because they just got rid of Joe Thuney. They traded him to the Bears. So they need a guy to replace him and, another offensive lineman, to plug and play for the Chiefs is what they're hoping for. And that's definitely going to be what they do here. Okay, at pick 30, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting wide receiver Jaden Higgins. And this one, Josh Allen needs a number one wide receiver. Khalil Shakir's good, but he's not really a wide receiver one, so this is in hopes that he can be the wide receiver one. If Jaden Higgins can take that step as a rookie like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, you obviously wouldn't expect that, but you kind of get my drift. You want him to, have talent and potentially be a number one wide receiver. You never know, and that's why you do the draft, and the Bills are taking that guy. All right, 31st overall pick for the Washington Commanders. They're going to select Emeka Egbuka. And the reason I think they're going to take a wide receiver is because they did trade for Deebo Samuel, and you might have noticed I also had them getting Juju in that Chiefs-Commanders trade. But the thing is, Juju's not that good, and Deebo I also don't think is that good, and he's very injury prone. So they're going to have another wide receiver just as insurance. Because, the Commanders are a pretty good team. Their defense could use some work, but, they're definitely a contender. All right, final overall pick in the first round is the Eagles, and they're going to take Walter Nolan, defensive tackle. And no, that is not a typo. That is actually how his name is spelled. And, the Eagles just have a thing with their front seven. They're able to just find, I don't want to say diamonds in the rough because it's the first round, but it is the last pick in the first round, so it's the closest thing to a diamond in the rough that you would ever find. But yeah, Walter Nolan, he just seems like an Eagle, and I think he's going to be pretty good because the Eagles just know how to work with their players. They know how to work with talent, and I think he'll be good. All right, so here's the full list of the whole breakdown of what I think is going to happen. If you want to take a screenshot or whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's it. This is a video. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a while, but the draft is here and I'm looking forward to it.